Recently, a friend of mine and I got to attend a local auto bazaar, which happens locally here in Kenya, obviously, if you know it, so a lot of people know it. And as we were looking through the cars, one of the vehicles that caught our attention was the 2019 Suzuki Belano, or Belagno, if you're from Italy. Anyway, the Suzuki Belagno has actually been rebadged as the Toyota Starlet, which has more history. That's why it makes more sense for us to review the history of the Toyota Starlet. The Toyota Starlet had been previously in production from the year 1973 to 1999. 1973 because there was a boom, there was a need for smaller cars before even the K cars were introduced. In 1973, the first edition of the Toyota Starlet was put in production. It had everything basically from the Toyota Corolla. We're talking about the inline 4, 1000cc and 1300cc engine, compact, small, and it was available in 2-door and 4-door. The most interesting thing about the Starlet at that time is it also came with rear-wheel drive, which was later abandoned in later versions. The 1976 option came with the most minor of changes, whereby it was incorporated into it. What does that even mean?
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
The 1976 model, which was the same model, only came with two things: catalytic converter and intermittent wipers, which are, as the French say, badass. It also came in 2-door, 4-door, and a new 5-door sedan, which was good for people who wanted to carry things in the back. Of course, the 5-door sedan came with leaf spring, which was a different type of suspension to the McPherson suspension, which uses a coil and a damper system. Of course, the advantage of the McPherson suspension is that it lasts very long and it's very easy and very cheap to manufacture. Also additional to the 1976 model was, get this, a tachometer to see how many vrooms you are vrooming at once. The car of old had nothing, if even a tachometer was an added version. The cars of the old time only came with 3 pedals, a stick, and a windshield. Apart from the standard version, Toyota also included a new Starlet version, the Sprint version, which came with a tachometer, and get this, no rear retracting seat belts. Like, the cars of old did not have a lot of things going on, but the car was good. It was a Toyota. It went. In 1980, Toyota did a pre-facelift version, which included the same circular headlights, but in square frames, before they did the 1984 square headlights facelift. One of the major problems of this version, the first version of the Toyota Starlet, was that due to the materials used during the production, these cars were very prone to rust. Rust under the doors, rust in the bonnets, rust in the wipers. And because of this, they had to do a complete facelift, which led to the 1984 version of the Toyota Starlet. In 1984, Toyota did a facelift, a complete remodeling of the Toyota Starlet. By this time, it had gotten to be a very successful car. People wanted it. Toyota wanted to give people what they want, give the people what they want. The people wanted it. The people had the money. They couldn't afford it. So they did a new model, the 1984 model. In fact, if you grew up in the 90s, this is the Starlet that you are most common with. It's the Starlet which was square headlights, square lights, quiet. I remember one of my neighbors had this car, and it was nice. I think it was a 3-door, white, clean. He was an engineer. He had money. He could afford it. So this version of the 1984 Toyota Starlet also came in 1000cc, 1300cc, and 1500cc. They even had a turbo option, which came with Toyota's active suspension system. Anytime I think of the active suspension, I think of the Williams FW14 with their band active suspension, and I also think about the Bose system, which they had. I think it was on the LS 400 model, jumping over bumps and whatnot. In 1989, everyone was going curvy. So Toyota did the same. They moved the 89 version from a boxier design to a curvy design, just like every other manufacturer was doing. And it ended up being a very popular trend. The 1998 version came with standard airbags, as safety standards at the time started to be a thing, whereby safety regulations were being looked at more, and you could no longer protect your child with a hand like this. No. You have to have real safety belts and real airbags. But sadly, in 1999, the brand did come to die. When you look at it, from 1973, they had milked the proverbial cow as much as they could, and it was replaced by an even more successful car. You know about it, the Toyota Vitz. So 1999, the Toyota Starlet dies and it's replaced by Toyota Vitz, and that is the end of it. And we hear nothing more, and Toyota Starlet has never come to exist and will never come to exist. But in 2019, Toyota did a rebadge of the new Suzuki Belagno, which is where we started this story off in the first place, if you were attentive. In 2019, Suzuki's Toyota Belagno was rebadged by Toyota as the Toyota Starlet in African market, because the Suzuki brand is not as big in India as it is in Kenya. They did a first generation, which for me was not very nice looking. It looked like this one. But later, they did a second model, and the current 2022 version, which for me sparks a lot of joy. So the current model of the Toyota Starlet, the Suzuki Belagno, does 5 liters for every 100 kilometers. So if you're going from Nairobi to Mombasa, that's only like 26 liters. 26 liters. It's very efficient. It's a very efficient car. 1300cc, push to start, ABS, airbags on the front seats, all the bells and whistles.